Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining myself and Senate President Sweeney this afternoon. You know, the proverbial question in Trenton for the past couple of weeks has been, when does the legislature address the two most important pieces of legislation in the toolkit? And we know that front and center is arbitration reform, interest arbitration reform. We've been criticized for taking too long to deliberate, but we've taken this length of time so that we can create a bill that satisfies all of the elements required for mayors, for town councils, and for our governor. So what New Jersey's taxpayers want and need is reform that controls property taxes, but at the same time respects and recognizes that public safety personnel in this state risk their lives every day and they need to be fairly compensated. So we're here today very pleased to announce that we have built a strong consensus around a responsible plan that will help taxpayers while at the same time protecting the rights of police and firefighters. Everyone recognizes that arbitration reform is a substantial component in controlling runaway property taxes. Now it's time to put partisanship aside and join together in doing what's best for New Jersey, not what is best in a soundbite. We've taken a careful approach to this legislation, and I think we have achieved a well-crafted balance that will at once control costs, while at the same time taking into account that there may need to be enhancement to this legislation down the road should any unforeseen circumstances arise from it. Simply put, the arbitration bill that Senate President Sweeney and I are going to advance will impose an average 2% cap on base salary increases for all police and firefighter arbitration awards. However, the cap will sunset in 3 years, which is the average length of police and firefighter contracts. And we will do that in order to gauge the effectiveness of the new process. The cap would only affect interest arbitration, not collective bargaining. It would pay for longevity, length of service, and other similar compensation would be required to be included under the 2% cap. All contracts that expire within this 3-year window would be required to adhere to this newly imposed 2% cap. Municipalities will have the right under this legislation to ask the state to force arbitration if it believes a union is not negotiating in good faith. Conversely, unions will have the right to ask the state to force municipalities back into fact-finding and mediation if they believe the municipality is not negotiating in good faith. The legislation would also establish last offer as the terminal procedure for resolving contractual impasses between public employers and police and fire departments when it comes to benefits. Furthermore, it will change the process for selecting an arbitrator for interest arbitration in order to ensure a more varied and impartial group of arbitrators are making these important decisions. This has been one of the criticisms proverbially about our current arbitration system. Arbitrators would also be required to meet stringent professional responsibility, impartiality, and ethics guidelines. Lastly, the process by which judgments are appealed will be changed under this legislation. I want to thank Senate President Sweeney for his commitment to ensuring that we get this done right. And you know that several weeks ago, we announced a bill that was authored by Assemblyman Greenwald, which serves as the basis of the bill that we are describing to you today. I think that the Green Wall bill has been enhanced since that period of time, and I think that the most appropriate thing that has happened, everyone has been given an opportunity to participate in this process: mayors, New Jersey Association of Counties, firefighters, police, and other public safety personnel. I think that it is a proud day in the state of New Jersey that public safety has come to the table with legislators, mayors, and governing bodies to do what is best with and for the taxpayers of this state, and for demonstrating their commitment as well to participate in shared sacrifice in New Jersey.
Thanks, Speaker, and I want to thank the Speaker for her leadership in this issue. You know, we did announce a bill a few weeks ago, and everyone was saying, well, we need more, and we heard that from the mayors. The mayor said, look, we got a cap, you got to go back and look at this thing, we need a cap. I don't think anyone today, any mayor in the state, would dream that we could have ever possibly gotten as far as we have gotten. This is light years away. It's revolutionary, the changes to binding arbitration, interest arbitration. Mm-hmm. This is revolutionary because this is a real cap. There's real costs in it. You know, we heard from the mayors, steps, longevity. You know, when uniforms allowances in the base pay, that's in there. Almost all of the compensation that you talk about is in here. It is a real cap. It is going to have a major impact in helping mayors. And so you understand how this works. If a contract doesn't come up for 3 years, that contract 3 years from now will be judged by this cap and will have to be negotiated by this cap. So we don't think we missed anything here. And we worked very hard listening to the mayors, listening to the different organizations. The New Jersey Association of Counties is supporting this. Dave Del Vecchio, who's the incoming president of the League of, not the League, the Conference of Mayors, is stated in here in support. We have the incoming president, the mayor of Buena Vista, Chuck Chiarello, and we have Gary Pescianti, who is the mayor of Somerdale, who also is a member of LUARC, who's, again, when we talked about shared services. Look, this has taken a long time. It's easy to throw something out and say, this is what we want to do. But even the governor's original bill that Senator Doherty had was not crafted right. You wouldn't have had any flexibility. Under the bill that we have, you can negotiate a 0, a 1, and a 4, whatever, but the total will stay under 6. Under the other legislation that was originally drafted, you didn't have that flexibility. It had to be 2, 2, and 2. So we've looked at all the details. I think we've crafted a very, very solid bill. And quite frankly, when the mayors see this, I'm sure that they are going to be in shock that we could have actually come to this point at this time. But I'm going to ask Mayor Chuck Chiarello from Buena Vista to say a few words. Chuck?
Certainly. As you know, the beginning of the year is approaching, and the municipalities around the state are faced with this new 2% budget cap. And in essence, if we don't have a piece of legislation like this in place, it's going to hurt towns everywhere. This makes a sensible solution to keeping the good public servants that we have. They're essential employees, whether they're firefighters or police. It stops towns from having to put people's lives on the chopping block. And I think this is a good piece of legislation. I represent this as the mayor of Buena Vista Township. Although I am incoming with the league, I am not endorsing it on behalf of the league at this time. I do feel that this has been the piece that's missing and will help move the budget process along for every town in New Jersey.
Mayor Pescianti.
Thank you. First, I would like to applaud the Assembly and the Senate for their fine craftsmanship of something that really meets in the middle grounds in trying to find a solution. You know, as mayors in local communities, we face difficult times. We have a cap that we have to deal with and no tools to have that happen. This is the single biggest tool in that kit that can help us in retaining and holding a 2% cap in our municipalities. This changes the scenario. We're no longer an us and a them when we're sitting at the table talking about how to reach a 2% cap. This is a we now. We're all together, and we've recognized that we have to share in the pain and the benefits of working through reaching this 2% cap. And having this tool in place, having this change in arbitration really sets the stage for us to be able to have some open discussions with our public safety in achieving this 2% cap at the best that we can possibly do. LUARC has been looking at things like this over the past couple of years. We're working on looking at shared services. We have a 5-town study going on in my community with 4 other communities and possibly converging our police departments to save some dollars. This is all part of our efforts. We have to work together in finding ways to be able to meet this cap. And this is a huge step forward, and I thank both the Senate and the Assembly for their work in advancing this bill, because I know it's something we at the municipal level need desperately.
This has also been the single most identified issue facing towns, and there is a solution now on the table.